What's good, YouTube? What's going on? Welcome to another edition of Sports Talk Friday or Friday Sports Talk. Here with my mans and my co-hosts, one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Socrates Palmer Jr. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Whoa, I'm doing great. Triple T, uh, TGIF. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Appreciate being on the best kept secret on YouTube.
The best kept secret on YouTube. I like it. I like it. Real quick, let me just give my shout outs real quick. Let's see who's in the building real quick. First off, as always, salute to the family, TWT. Hopefully we have some of the members come in later. My man D Free is actually running a live of his own. If you want to check out, he's covering the fights right now. He's covering it with BVO. If you want to go check him out, he's covering the fight and he'll probably drop it afterwards and we'll, do our football picks. But right now, let me shout out my people. Skywalker was good. Skywalker, Mr. Shelton, is in the building. Timber and Kiara, how you doing? Was good. Thank you for coming through. My man K Savoy was good. Thank you for coming through. And 88 Sports Talk, what's going on, bro? What's good, baby? Is in the building. So I guess we're gonna lead off. We're gonna go right into football. Last week we did our picks. We we did a little draft style and we took our picks based off on to cover the spread. And me, Sock, and D Free, we went, and one person didn't do so well, and then two other people did okay. Nobody did great. Nobody went 3-0. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna start off with Sock. Sock, how did you do on your picks last week?
Not as good as I anticipated. Week one. You still it's a filling out round, right? Week one. Some teams are not as good as you think, and some teams are not as bad as you think, or teams just got really up for week one. I think that one of the biggest surprises is Tampa Bay beating the Vikings. I mean, we know Tampa Bay has talent, Mike Evans, Goodwin, but I had no faith in Baker Mayfield, and he played a good game. And the Vikings really, how can I put it? I mean, really underwhelmed. So I lost that game. I did win with the Raiders.
Your team looked out.
They did. I felt very confident. We just matched up well against the Broncos. That's 7 in a row against the Broncos. It was a game that could have gone either way. A game that last year, a lot of those type of games last year, the Raiders lost. And so hopefully they're turning things in the right direction. And the game that I was completely wrong, that makes my Vikings pick even better, were the New York Giants, who got embarrassed, who didn't show up against the divisional rival on national television, and they were obliterated 40-0. I took the Giants at plus 3.5, and that was a mistake, to say the least. So 1-2 to start week one.
Yeah, not too good, and that Giant game was a shocker. I mean, the Cowboys were the favorite, even though the Cowboys were on the road. It's opening game. You got to be hyped, right? Opening game. Your fans are there for your opening game. Usually that's where you have your biggest sellouts, is the first game. And the Giants just laid an egg. They looked good the first drive. They marched down the field, and that was it. When that field goal attempt was blocked, returned, the game was over right there and then.
And you talk about momentum. One play, the Giants are moving the ball down the field, and they get a false start. Once that happened, it was just a snowball effect, and the Giants they were victims to an avalanche.
Yeah.
And halftime, I think people in MetLife were a little early for Halloween. Do you want to know why I think they were early for Halloween?
Tell me why.
Because all of a sudden, the people in the stands turned into empty seats. I mean, people were leaving. People were leaving at the 2-minute warning of the second quarter. that was an embarrassment.
Embarrassment,
I mean,
big time.
I I expect a better effort in week two. So I'm giving you a little preview of how I'm leaning with in week two when we
In
make our
week two, your
predictions.
picks. Well, we know who they're playing. They're playing who I think is probably the worst team in football. Um, at Arizona, the Cardinals. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Um, so, Sock, you ended up 1-2. The only win was with your team. The Raiders looked out and they won
Hmm.
outright. They were getting 3.5 points and they won the game outright. Um, how you feel about the Raiders?
It feels good to win. You know, it wasn't the prettiest game. We won by 1 point. Uh, but like I said earlier, I saw a lot of those types of games last year go the wrong way. Um, Jimmy G, say what you say about him, but if you look at the back of his football card, he's a winner. I mean, he is a 2-1 uh, wins loss guy. Now, granted, he's not. He hasn't carried those teams on his back, But at the end of the day, he is the most important player on the team, right? He's a quarterback. He's a guy that gets everything together. He executes the game plan. He played well,
Yeah,
outside the interception in the red zone, in the throw that you wish he would have just thrown it out of the end zone and settled for the field goal. But overall, he played well. He had a lot of chemistry with the wide receiver, the new guy from New England, who took a
Jacoby Myers. Yeah,
Jacoby Myers took a vicious hit towards the end of the game, who I believe he hasn't practiced. But he found him for two scores. Devontae Adams looked great. Considering he's going up against one of the best corners in the league, and Surtain. Josh Jacobs definitely looked like someone who missed camp. You know,
yeah,
I expect much better games going forward. Especially this week coming up. Even though it's against a tough Bills defense, I think he's going to be a lot better. But I'm happy. The defense in the first half was frustrating. The secondary gave us some plays. I thought Russell Wilson looked a little bit better.
mhm.
I think he's going to have a bounce back year. It seems like he's in better shape. Obviously, he's playing with a better coach. Um, Sean Payton, I respect a lot, but it's really nice to beat Sean Payton. He's an
Yeah,
arrogant dude. He starts the game off with an onside kick. He tries to be the smartest guy in the field, and it almost worked. Glad it didn't. It led to the Raiders' first score, and it's week one. So right now, as we speak, we're in first place.
yeah. Well, congratulations on that win, and not so much congratulations on your record. You went 1-2, but your real life team did win. So congratulations to that. And that will lead me to my real life team and my picks. I went 2-1 in my picks, and my only loss was my team. I took Seattle -5.5, and they laid an egg. They lost outright. And as you see here, 88 Sports Talk, his biggest surprise to me was the Rams. Well, it
Hmm.
was the biggest surprise to me as well. How about that? And I don't know if you're being sarcastic or trolling, but it really was the biggest surprise to me, as everybody in the chat is trolling me now, Sock. Um, I just want to show you some of the comments if you can't see them. Lions about to beat those sea chickens, you know, uh, Mr. Shelton, you
Receipt
know,
Nation.
sea chickens, and then Case Savoy, these guys, they have no respect for me, man. No respect. Yes, they're playing
You
in
know,
Detroit on Sunday, and Seattle will win that game. That is going to be a prediction I make. And
hmm,
surprise, surprise, I'll be picking Seattle every week they play. So just to save you guys any time and energy, I will be predicting my team to win. But I'm going to go into my picks real quick. I took the Ravens -9.5. I expected the Ravens to blow out Houston. They dominated the game. Wasn't really a blown out. I thought it was a competitive game. They did cover the spread though. Houston seems like a team that, like last year, they're going to keep fighting and play hard. Especially, I believe Houston owes Arizona their first round pick also, right? This year's first round pick. So they really got nothing to
believe
play
you're
for
right.
as far as
Hmm.
picks. I think so. I think
Right.
Arizona will get two first round picks. So Houston, I expect them to play hard, no matter what, because they got no first round pick, right? So
Right.
um, then I also took the Browns. The Browns were +2. Case Savoy, how you like them apples? Case Savoy, by the way, is a Saints fan, but he is also a Joe Burrow fan because he's LSU guy, and he likes the Bengals more than the Saints. So hold that L, Case Savoy. The Browns won outright. They were getting 2 points. They dominated the Bengals the whole game. Joe Burrow did not look good at all. I think he threw less than 100 yards. Don't quote me on that, but he played terrible um,
He was awful.
in that game. The Browns, totally dominated. It was good to see the Browns win their home opener. A lot of people think the Browns will be, very competitive, and they should give maybe the Ravens some comp and the Bengals obviously to winning that division. So, but yeah, so my record was a good 2-1. That leaves me tied in first place with D Free. Real quick, gotta pat myself on the back, Barry Horowitz style,
Yeah.
2-1. So, to just give myself the big old Barry Horowitz real quick. But
And,
yeah.
and
um,
just going back, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
yeah.
going back, that's 4 in a row for the Browns over the Bengals.
Yeah, I think that
They,
they're like 5-1 versus Burrow.
which is pretty astounding.
Yeah.
I guess just some teams have people's numbers,
Yeah.
and they right now they own the Buckeye State.
Yeah, they're division rival and they're a state rival, so that's
Oh
huge.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So
big rivals going from way back.
yeah. So to close it out, D Free also went 2-1. He's not here right now. I'll go over his picks real quick. He took the Commanders, which he's a Commanders fan. I believe that was his only loss. They did not
Hmm.
cover the spread. I don't think they covered the spread. They did not cover the spread, the Commanders, right? I don't think it's a spread.
No, they did it.
I have the spread at 7. So that was his only loss. Even though his team won outright, they didn't cover the spread. He picked the Jaguars -4.5. They covered in like the end of the fourth quarter because that game was close as well. And then he took the Jets +2.5. He lucked out there because the Jets played hard after Aaron Rodgers went down. And
that's we have a whole show
yeah,
about that. The Cardinals, let's not glance over a much better effort than I think people expected.
yeah,
I mean, they were in that game all the way. Washington needed, to dominate the fourth quarter. Joshua Dobbs, he played a credible game. He wasn't asked to do much, a lot of short stuff, which is what you do with a guy that's not that experienced. I see he's 21-30, only for 132 yards. Game manager. He took 3 sacks, but only for 18 yards total loss. James Conner ran the ball well on 14 carries at 62 yards, ripping 4.5 yards a pop. So is this a sign moving forward? The Cardinals defense, if they hired a defensive coach, Gannon, the former
yeah,
Eagles D coordinator. So maybe the Cardinals are not going to be the pushovers that we think. Talent-wise, roster-wise, they look like the worst team in the league.
yeah,
But they're giving good effort. At least they did in week 1.
a very good effort, especially on the road.
Yes.
But sometimes the opening game, of the season, almost every team plays hard because it's like you got training camp, you got your preseason, it's all to get you ready for week 1. Week 2, different story, but week 1, you're supposed to be well prepared. People are pumped.
Mm-hmm.
You're practicing pretty much the same plays over and over. That's your lead play in the first game of the year. So, let's see how they act week 2. They're at home against a team that just got destroyed, right? The Giants. By the way, the only team to not score any points for the week was the New York, New Jersey Giants. Just throwing it out there for you Giant fans. So
I saw a joke. I saw a joke that the San Francisco Giants actually scored more than the New York Giants.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do in baseball.
Yeah. And they did it with ease.
Anyways.
With ease. So, yeah.
I can't imagine what the Giants' practice was on Tuesday. and the film room. Oh, my goodness.
The film room must have been.
Oh.
I have no sympathy for the Giants nor their fans.
As you should.
You won't get any over here in this show. I don't even think from the chat.
The worst loss in franchise history. And this is from one of the original teams. I mean, you talk about the pillars of the NFL. You can't talk about the pillars of the NFL without mentioning the New York Giants. And it took a long time to get that type of whooping. So, you
I
know,
wish there were Giant fans here so we could just so they could get even more upset. But they'd probably go into hiding anyway. So real quick, I'm trying to give. I mean, the main event of this fight hasn't started yet, so I don't expect him to come anytime soon. So what we can do our three picks. He's just going to get stuck picking three of his own after we pick back and forth. What I was going to do is I was going to let you pick first again since you finished the worst of the three, and then we could have, did me or him pick next. But um, we can start
yeah,
that. I'll put it on the screen in
Vegas,
a
yeah.
minute. I don't know if you want to talk about last night's game, the Eagles and the
Um,
Vikings.
I mean, definitely would like to talk about, but we're kind of burying the lead. The biggest story of the week is Aaron Rodgers' injury.
Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
I mean, the NFL always reminds you of. I mean, it's just you name a year. It's a injuries. The NFL is about two things: injuries and schedule. And the Jets got hit with the ugly injury. I mean, even if you're not a Jets fan, Aaron Rodgers is one of the great players to ever play this game.
Yeah.
And it hurts the league when this is a quarterback league. We all know it. I think Aaron Rodgers was coming into this year with a chip on his shoulder,
Yep.
and to see him go down on the fourth play of the game, brutal. For any Jet fan. But Zach Wilson, the MILF taker,
The
right?
milk.
You
The
know,
milk taker.
the
I
MILF
haven't heard
taker.
that since last year. Wow.
He's the milk.
The
He's the
milk
MILF
taker.
taker. He won the game. I mean, he didn't make you forget about Aaron Rodgers, but he
Yeah,
played
that's
well.
that
He played well against a good team. You can't say enough about the wide receiver, Wilson.
Wilson.
Oh my gosh, he's in that conversation. I mean, out of the young wide receivers, I mean, obviously Jefferson and Chase Daniels. I mean, not Chase Daniels, Jamar Chase
Jamar Chase,
get
yeah.
you know get the most hype, but Wilson is right there. He doesn't have to take a backseat to either one of those guys. I mean,
Yeah. What's
especially.
crazy
Mhm.
sorry, what's crazy about that catch, that touchdown catch, I think he was trying to bat the ball away,
It
right?
looked,
It looked like he was
yes,
trying to bat the ball away from an
yeah,
interception, and it so happened the way he tapped it, he had a chance to, kind of bring it
right.
to him, and that's what he did. But that was sick.
It was. I mean, you consider the height of these guys, and plus the gloves that they use. I mean, those catches are a lot easier to make than 20 years ago,
Yeah,
right? 30 years ago. So, that's something. But to make that that play in the end zone, that was one of the great catches you're ever going to see. That Jets defense is legit.
they are legit. Yep.
They are legit. I mean, the hype is real. Sauce Gardner. Top two or three best corners in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make your argument. I
Yeah.
mean, until
It's safe to say
somebody,
that. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, the kid plays great. Now, the Jets pass rush helps a lot. Any cornerback, what's your best friend is a good pass rush, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And Salah is a defensive mind. They play hard for him, and now you're gonna see, really do they have faith in Zach Wilson moving forward? They got a tough game coming up. I mean, all the games are gonna be tough. It's the
Yeah.
NFL, right?
It's the NFL. Yeah.
Moving forward, the Jets go to where do they go?
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yep. They play the
So
Cowboys, and they're big underdogs too.
monster underdogs.
Yeah.
They're 10 point. I have one line that they're 10 points. What line do you have them at right now?
Here I know I thought I saw 9.5, but
Mm.
let's go. Let's put it on the screen real quick, and let's see. Hold on 1 second. Let's see where they at. Over here, they only 9.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, look, Aaron Rodgers' Achilles, he had the surgery today.
Yeah.
There is some crazy, crazy speculation, and it started by him. That I don't know if you heard this earlier today, that he actually thinks he could come back before the end of the year.
He's
which,
bananas.
I mean, if he
At
does
his
that,
age,
yes, right.
yeah.
Slim and none, and Slim has left the building, right?
But
But that would be right there next to Jesus waking up Lazarus, right? If he's in,
pretty much. Yeah,
I,
pretty much.
yeah. I
So
mean, we know modern medicine is something, and obviously he's a rich guy who's got the best care in the world. But yeah, he's bugging,
yeah.
as a kid say.
As the kids say, they're fucking. Yeah, he's
He's
not, and then let's say some miracle happened, and he's recovered by let's say week 13, and the Jets are in contention of making the playoffs, winning the division. Why would the Jets want to bring him in anyway? If they were good enough at that, if they're good enough at that point
right,
where
right.
it's close, that why would you bring him in and mess everything up? So like, it makes no sense to even say that,
Hmm.
because if I was a coach and my
Hmm.
team was playing well, which
Right.
which you would hope for as the head coach, you don't want to say anything negative. You want to be positive, with your guy, which is now Zach Wilson. Why would I even think about that? Like that? That's
Hmm.
just bananas. It's crazy talk. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't start him if I was a coach. Maybe management may force the coach to play him, but it would be dumb if Zach Wilson at that point was good enough to get them to, let's say, you know 10-3 or whatever the case may be.
Whoa! Wow! With 10-3, then there's not even a debate. But I think
Right there, that's just saying, I
I
just
think
threw out a
any Jet
number,
fan.
nine and 4.
Well, I was gonna say, I think any Jet fan right now, if I offered them 8-5, take it or leave it.
That's 13 game. You got 13 game with 4 to go, right?
You got to take it. 8-5.
You still got to let Zach play.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you and I, obviously we were a lot younger, but we lived through something similar, which was when Phil Simms got hurt and Jeff Hostetler took over.
Yeah,
Now Jeff was a good player in college,
yeah,
and he was just stuck behind Phil Simms, but he was able to execute the game plan. He was kind of like one of those first game managers, although he had more game than what he was allowed to show.
yeah.
If
Because he
you
could
remember,
move.
he was a great athlete,
Yeah,
great athlete, had a hell of an arm. There was a competitiveness between him and Phil. They weren't friends, and Jeff Hostetler took him to the promised land. Now that was week 15 that Phil
it
got
was
hurt? The
late. It
game
was
against the
late in the
Bills.
season. Yeah,
Was it the game against the Bills that he got hurt? Or the game? No, I'm sorry. The game against the Broncos.
it was the Broncos. Yeah, was it the
I
Broncos?
think
It
it was
was
the
after
Broncos.
the Niner game, because the Niners beat them that year. Because remember, they both
Right.
were 10-0 going into the game. I remember the Niners beat the Giants that year in the regular season.
7-6.
Huh?
Was it 7-6? Monday night 7-6.
Was
It
it?
was at one point. It was something crazy. I think. Yeah, I think it was like
I
7 to
know that
6.
they were both 10-0. I don't know if the game was on Monday night, but I want to say it was. But
It
it
was
was
Monday
against the
night.
Niners. The Niners won, so the Niners went 11-0.
Right.
Giants went 10-1, and I think the next week they played the Broncos. Now this is a long time ago. You're talking about 90, 91, 1990, I think.
Yeah, 1990. Yeah.
90, yeah. And then we
Yeah.
know that Hostetler took over and they won ended up winning the Super Bowl.
So
But
I
and
mean,
then he went with your team. He became
and
your quarterback in the Raiders.
that's right, and he did well.
Yeah.
He did well. He went to the playoffs a couple of times. And Jeff was good, and he also, I believe, he finished off with the Redskins. Jeff Hostetler could play.
Yeah.
Now we know Zach Wilson got drafted in the first round for a reason.
Second
Got a big
overall.
arm,
Yeah.
right? Big time arm.
Yeah.
You can't doubt that. The problem with him, I think, he's a kid that grew up with the silver spoon in his mouth. That's so. And I think when things come easy to people, you don't appreciate it. So he's got natural talent. Grew up with money. Not much adversity in life. In the NFL, finally faced some adversity.
Yeah.
And didn't know how to handle it. And the New York media ate him up with juca and onions.
With Juka and Well, and he kind of helped them do that, because he came in arrogant,
right,
and he was very easy to be disliked last year. So now he's saying all the right things. He's confident. He said something like, now he being able to have Rodgers the whole preseason, and to work with him has helped his game and that he's going to produce. But I'm going to say this. I'm sorry, Jet fans. If Zach Wilson ends up to be pretty good, I don't think it matters. That offensive line is terrible. They
Yeah.
need to come up with some type of scheme or some type of where it's quick releases and they got to run the ball good because that offensive line, if Rodgers didn't get hurt week 1, he was going to get beat up
Right. There's going to be
sometime during the season.
yeah.
That offensive line is one of the worst I've seen, and I've seen a lot of bad offensive lines with
Especially
Russell
from a
Wilson.
contending team.
Yeah.
Very few people could get away with like the Bengals. The Bengals a couple of years ago, the year they went to the Super Bowl, offensive line was
Joe
mediocre.
Burrow was getting beat up. The
Yeah.
AFC Championship game, he got sacked. I don't know how many times he got sacked, and they still won. So I mean, it can happen. It's coaching. It's calling the right plays, right? The offensive coordinator's got to call the right plays, and then you got to execute.
Mhm.
So, it's going to be a tough matchup with the Cowboys. With the Cowboys' defensive line, may have a field day with the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way they move Parsons around.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a must double team, or they're gonna have to chip, leave a running back in the back. Now the Jets do have talent. Brees Hall is explosive. Dalvin Cook seems like he still has some thread on the tires.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Wilson earlier, of course, who's one of the really great young players in this league. I think the Jets are going to be up for it. I think they're going to give a better effort than their roommates at MetLife.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you get any worse, right? I mean,
that's true. That's all facts. I mean, I think they're going to give a better effort. Also, I mean, you would think obviously the defense will be inspired.
Right.
The Cowboy offense didn't really do anything great. It was the Giants offense that helped them out and the Cowboy defense that put them in great position most of the time. So you would hope that the Jets defense could do the same thing, but anytime you have a good defense and your offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, the defense is going to tire eventually, and then that's going to be bad news. So and then the defense is going to and the defense will give up. If no effort on the offense, then why would the defense put any effort? So it happens.
Weigh on you.
So
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad. This is Vinny Testaverde vibes, right?
Vinny Testaverde, one of my first favorite football players of all time. Vinny Testaverde, the man at the University of Miami, had the luck of being drafted by one of the worst teams in the history of the NFL at the time, the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Found his mojo with Cleveland and Coach Belichick.
Yeah.
And, really became one of the best players in the league with the tuna. Should have beat the Broncos in that AFC Championship game. If up 10-0, and Curtis Martin fumbles the ball. And then, of course, the next year, high hopes, and he pops his Achilles.
It was that week 1 also? With Testaverde got hurt?
It was, week 1. But it was like late in the game.
Yeah.
It was late in the game. And then, there was a criticism that I forgot who the backup was. I don't know if it was Glenn Foley, and he stunk. I don't know if it was Glenn Foley, but whoever the second string stunk. And then they wind up going to Ray Lucas.
Okay.
And
Ray Lucas from Rutgers.
Ray Lucas played like the last 8 games, and I think went like 6-2.
Yeah.
And the Jets went to the last week to make the playoffs, and they lost in one of the worst games coached by Parcells. They lost, I believe, to Houston, the Oilers at the time, or the Lions.
Yeah. I don't remember.
They lost to the Lions, and
But I remember Ray Lucas coming in, and Ray Lucas played pretty good.
Yeah,
nobody expected him to do what he did.
Yeah, Ray Lucas did work. Yeah. Because the Jets had a lot of talent. I mean, Keyshawn, Wayne Corbett.
They were picked to go far that year with Testaverde, and then, with him going down,
Curtis Martin. I mean,
like you said, Keyshawn, Corbett was on the team.
I think that they had just got your boy Kevin Mawai.
Okay.
Hall of Famer. I mean, they had two Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Curtis Martin and Kevin Mawai. You know, uh, the Jets. Um, they were solid. They
Yeah,
1 year from the AFC Championship, but it stinks right now to be a Jet fan, and you could probably say that it stinks to be a Jet fan the last 50 years too. So
yeah. You know what it
yeah,
stinks to be? It stinks to be a Seahawks fan. Yeah, I know I've seen success more
you
recently
have.
than the Jets, but I was very disappointed in their game and their effort. Their effort was terrible in the
What
second.
happened? I mean, the Rams play you guys traditionally well.
They traditionally play us well, but this Rams team is not that good. So there's a couple of things that happened. The first half, we had opportunities and we didn't finish drives. I thought the play calling was mediocre at best, right?
Mm.
So we're up 13-7. Our defensive line was not putting any pressure whatsoever. And we lost both our tackles. So the second half, Stafford had all day. There was no pressure. And Gino had no time. They were going 3-and-out pretty much every drive, and every time they had like a little momentum on a series, like they would get 3 yards on a run, another 3 yards. The play calling on third down was terrible. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, throwing 40-yard passes. Lockett went down to a concussion. So
Is
there's a
he
bunch
out?
of
Is he out? He's ruled out
I think he's
for
questionable for
Sunday.
this week.
Okay.
So from what I saw, they say he may play, but
Hmm. Who steps in for him? For the fantasy geeks out there.
well, the kid from Ohio State will get more touches, you would think, or more targets.
Okay.
Um, I can't even think right now. I'm so messed up. They didn't even let the backup running back play much. He only got 3 carries, Charbonnet. But we didn't have the ball much. The second half, it was total domination. We pretty much going 3-and-out every time, and the Lions held the ball, for a long time each drive. So
And you go on the road, right,
we
to
go on the road
Detroit
to play the team that just beat the world champs, and we play at
with the
Detroit.
extended rest. With the
Huh?
extended rest, right?
Extended rest for Detroit. They got a big momentum. This is a last year. This is if you think about it, it's kind of a revenge game because we beat them last year, and that was the deciding factor to making the playoffs because we both ended the
Right.
same record. We both ended
Right.
up 9-8,
Tiebreaker.
and the tiebreaker went to Seattle to go to the playoffs. So this is a big game for Detroit.
It
So
is. It's gonna. That's gonna be a raucous crowd. I mean,
yeah,
they haven't had something to cheer about in a long time,
yeah,
and the Lions have been a doormat franchise, but it's a really good sports town,
yeah,
and I think it's gonna be pretty cool. I think they're gonna be good this year. It's gonna be nice to have a meaningful Thanksgiving Day game, because that's you know, I mean, we get stuck with the Lions every year, and it's like, okay, when does the Cowboy game start? But
that's true.
but this is a different Lions team. The coaches, he gets you hyped. Campbell,
Yeah,
the former tight end.
oh,
Uh,
yeah,
uh, Goff is playing well.
he's playing well. He
St.
played well
Brown,
last year. St. Brown is solid. You know,
they got a good team. I think you
Montgomery. They
got your
got
hands
Montgomery
full.
now at back, and they have the rookie that they drafted, Gibbs. You
The
know,
tight end is going to be really good. Laporta,
Laporta is pretty good. He had like 5. I think he had 5 catches.
I think he's going
Yeah,
to be a big time player.
yeah,
Um, 0-2 is a lot different than it is before because with the extra game,
yeah,
0-2 it was kind of like a death sentence. I'm not saying Seattle's going 0-2, but it's a tall task.
yeah.
Objectively, how do you see this game playing out?
I think Seattle will come to play. The only thing that worries me is what Gino said after the game, and it's something that you don't ever want to say when you're the captain of a team and you need a quarterback. And he said that it just looked like the Rams wanted to win the game more than we did, that they played harder than we did, and that was
Wow,
that may not be a direct quote, but those were some of the words that he said like that, and that's not good. So, and then
take a
I don't
shot.
know if Cross is going to play. They signed, the 100-year-old Jason Peters to play tackle. He's been in the league forever. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully Lockett plays. But, it's all on the defense. I'm hoping Witherspoon plays. Witherspoon did not play the first week. Jamal Adams is still out. He might be back by week 3. So, Jordan Brooks, I'm not sure if he's going to be back this week either. But still, they got Devin Bush, they got Wagner, the D line. was supposed to be better and put more pressure. Stafford had all day. You know, I think it starts with the D line. Last year, they were one of the worst teams against the run, and we were getting, Kyron Williams had a good day against us. So it's
Mhm.
still the same old Seahawks as far as defensively, and we made some moves defensively, and they're not paying off. So I'm hoping
Mhm.
it's a different turnout. It doesn't look good, but I always have high hopes because the talent is there, right?
Mhm.
If you see the talent on paper, just need them to execute and, you know, finish off drives, right? So
Right.
make a key stop. One thing I want to make a guarantee of doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm sure Diggs will get another interception at Detroit because he seems to always play well against the Lions as his former team. Well,
Mhm.
um, yeah, and he does well against former quarterbacks he played with. So that's the only thing I can kind of hope for and kind of see happening. Maybe he gets a couple of picks and changes things, but we'll see. That's why you play the games, right?
Absolutely. And the NFL is the ultimate overreaction sport,
Yeah.
right? It's the shortest of the season, shortest of the sports in terms of games played. So it's easy to overreact after week one. Uh, I have Detroit is a -7 on one sheet. What are you looking at right now?
Well, let's bring it up. Maybe we could start doing this now, and you could do yours. So over here, for some reason, it's only 4.5.
Okay,
I don't
okay.
know why that dropped. Something must have
Um,
happened.
okay. Now that's week. This obviously we're in week two. Week two started off yesterday uh, with the defending National Football Conference champions going to 2-0 with a win against the Minnesota Vikings. A lot of Eagle fans not necessarily impressed or happy, with the effort and the game. I mean, Minnesota had chances to win that game. Give me your thoughts, Tom.
Well, I don't know about you, but I know a certain someone that was pretty happy that they won. He's always
Mhm.
bitching though, and um, you know who I'm talking about is a guy named Brett. You know,
Top cop.
he's a big Eagles fan, and he's happy that they're 2-0. But they didn't look as good as I thought them to be. The Vikings were out two linemen, and I thought Cousins was gonna be eating turf all night, and he really they put up some yards and points on them. So that's 2 weeks in a row that the Eagles did not look as good against teams that they're supposed to kind of beat up on.
Cousins played well. I mean,
Yeah, he
four,
played. He played
four,
very well.
four TDs, 364 yards. He wasn't Dickin and Duncan because I see the stats here. Eight yards per throw. Sacked twice only. No interceptions. Uh,
No,
now the people that were on the milk carton are the Vikings running backs. 28 total yards on the
yeah,
ground. That's not going to get it done against anybody, especially a talented team like the Eagles.
yeah,
Justin Jefferson had some great numbers: 11 catches, 159 yards, zero touchdowns. And why did he have zero touchdowns? Because he fumbled the ball at the goal line, Tom.
yeah. Which was he tried to extend his arm, and that turned out to be a major play, right? Because they lost by a touchdown. You don't know how the game is played out after that, but that turned out big. And other Viking fumbles kind of um, messed up drives as well. Didn't they fumble on a return early in the game in the first quarter? There was a couple fumbles in the first quarter as well. So
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
they really shot themselves in the foot. Jalen Hurts, I'm looking on the other side, had a pretty pedestrian game. 193 yards, 18 for 23, about the same yardage per attempt as Cousins, 8.5. He went to the turf 4 times.
yeah,
There's that vaunted Eagle offensive line. At least pass protection wasn't great. They ran the ball well. DeAndre Swift, 175 yards. That's a monster day. Jalen Hurts, of course, made some plays with his legs. Um, Devontae Smith had a big game, 131 yards receiving. I'm trying to look at the overall stats. The Vikings should have won that game.
they should have
They
won a
should have
game.
won that game.
Playing on the road too, right?
Yeah.
You don't expect to, but they came out and after laying an egg in the first week. right? You
Right.
thought the Vikings were going to get lit up this game, but they played hard. It's unfortunate they get a loss for playing hard, but they made some mistakes. Um,
Hmm. Now the
that
Eagles
can
have
push
more
them
first
through.
downs. Yeah, they have more first downs,
Mm-hmm.
and they outgained them. So maybe I'm over speaking that they should have won the game, but the Vikings definitely made mistakes, and like we talked about overreaction.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, 4 turnovers. That's you're not going to beat anybody,
exactly.
and just like that, the Vikings are 0-2 and
Oh,
looking at a really bad year.
I'm not sure who they play week 3.
Hmm.
Hold on, let's see. Week 3, who they got? Because the buys don't start yet, I don't believe.
No, no, not yet.
The, um, the Vikings. Where do we see the Vikings? I'm interested to see because they would probably pick to win the division. Them or the Lions.
Right.
Yeah. Do you see them anywhere? I do not see them.
Hmm.
Oh, because this is week 2. That's why. Forget.
Okay.
Yeah. They
Well,
just played. Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So I think that's a good segue for week 2. We talked about Thursday night. Eagles 2-0. They seem to still be the class of the NFC East, although the Cowboys were the most impressive team. Let's talk about week 2, Tom.
All right, Tom. Tom. That's me. Let's let you lead off since you finished 1 and 2,
Oh,
and
okay.
you make
Thanks
your
for
first pick.
reminding me.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a game you want me to go to so you can see the spreads. Um,
Well, you know what? You know what? I'm going to stay consistent. Um, I'm, I'm going with my homeboys. I'm being a homer. I like that 8.5. I think the Raiders are going to play well against the Bills. I think the Bills have some issues that are a little bit bigger than football.
mhm.
I think that building has some turmoil. Their owner was quoted saying some craziness. Uh, the
That's pretty big. That's
Yeah,
major.
yeah, he was
That's big. Yeah.
yeah, you guys want to look it up. Some racist comments or things that could be considered as racist, uh, saying about certain people should go back to Africa. I
Mhm.
mean, that's crazy. Um,
Jerry Jones was on there too, I believe. Right?
yeah, yeah, but it was well. Jerry, I don't think Jerry's comments was as nuts as these comments. I think what Jerry said something about allegedly said that if there's certain black people that feel a certain way, then they should start their own league. You know, I believe. I don't quote me verbatim. Once again, these are alleged, quotes. I don't think anyone has them on tape, but I think the Bills. I mean, I gotta tip my hat off to you. You were the one that called it. You think that the Bills were going to kind of underachieve this year.
Yeah.
They didn't look great against the Jets. Josh Allen looked horrible. Really gave that game away with the turnovers. And I
Four
think,
turnovers,
yeah, yeah.
3 NOs, and 1 fumble.
They have no running game.
It's hero
Diggs,
ball over and over with him.
yeah,
You
and
know.
Diggs is he's a diva who's getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Uh, I think if it was up to him, he'd probably be in Dallas with his brother.
Yeah.
You know, um, So I'm really, if this game was played in late December, I'd say, wow, the Raiders have no chance.
Yeah.
But going into Buffalo, you know, it'll be a little chilly. It'll probably be about 60 degrees. I like the Raiders at 8.5. That's my first pick.
Okay. I put you down plus
Plus
8.5.
plus 8. Yes.
That's not bad. I mean, I don't think highly of Buffalo this year. I've said that from the beginning. I'm not saying they're gonna lose this game, but they better win this game, right? But I think the Raiders will be competitive in this game. 8.5. That's two
So do
scores,
I.
right? So I mean, that's a good pick. Raiders plus 8.5. I can dig it. It's a pretty good pick. I guess I will now pick. It's a tough week for me. I am going to go to a game where it should be an easy game to pick, and I'm going to pick the team that I hate the most, and I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers minus 7.5 against the Rams. The Rams with a big win last week on the road at Seattle, in a game that nobody expected them to win, are now home in their home opener against a team that just dominated Pittsburgh. I didn't think
which
anybody saw the Niners dominating Pittsburgh the way they did, and the Niners just owned the Rams. Like they just can't beat the Rams. I mean,
and
they can't. The Rams can't beat the Niners.
they can't be the Niners, and that building is going to be full of red and gold.
Yep,
The 49er bandwagon fans travel well.
the
The the,
bandwagon fans.
the Rams, LA is one of the worst sports towns in the entire planet, and they'll that it's going to be embarrassing. Put it that way.
Yeah,
It's going to be embarrassing.
you're right. It's gonna be a lot. It's
Unless
gonna be
Stan
at least half.
Kroenke, unless Stan Kroenke, buys up some tickets, you know, himself, it's going to be embarrassing. They did it. They did it to them last year, and
Yeah,
they blocked them. Right? Did they like try to block them from like certain?
they
Uh,
probably did because I've heard
they
that.
tried
I
to.
don't know if they
Yes.
did it with them and another team, but
Hmm.
it probably was.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's going to be a. It's not going to be a home game. So that's an excellent pick.
I wonder if it was the Chargers too because I think they played the Chargers also, but I don't know who was the home game for that game because they definitely played the Chargers last year.
Who?
So I don't know if
The
that was
Niners?
another one. No,
The,
the Rams. So they
the
shared a
Chargers have.
stadium, but yeah,
Yeah, the Chargers have no home
yeah,
field. The Raiders, when we go over there, that's our house.
yeah.
That's
So
our house. So great pick. I
and
could
I hate
definitely
the
take.
Niners. I wouldn't mind if they lost.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Um,
So usually Dwayne would get his pick here, but he's gonna have to pick three on his own. He's gonna have it tough. But
let
I'll
me
let you
get
go ahead.
that. Let me get that line. I'm picking the Houston Texans at
Where's
at -1.
against the were they Colts? I believe they play.
Yes, I'm picking Houston. I like them at home. I think they're gonna. I think they have just a little bit more talent than the Colts,
Okay.
and I like that. I mean, at one point, basically, a field goal late. I like their running back. I think they have a solid defense. They're going to play hard, and I think it's going to be a the first win for their head coach, who escapes my his name escapes my mind right now, but he's going to get a game ball.
He's gonna get a game ball. Is I don't know, is Richardson clear to play? Because I know he was hurt for the Colts.
Mm. I haven't heard anything that he's not playing or if he's practiced at all, but
Okay.
you know, they're both teams 0-1, right?
Both teams are 0-1. That is correct.
So someone's got to win, and I'm picking Houston. Unless there's a tie, right? That's what we don't want.
All right. Let
Your
me
turn, Tom.
I'm not gonna touch the Broncos and Commanders game. I'm gonna leave that from D because I believe he'll pick that game. He'll pick his Commanders. So I'll leave that. Uh, I'll leave that for him. What I will do is I will take the Dolphins and Patriots game, and I will take the Dolphins -3 at New England. I know New England is going to play tough for the majority of the game, but I just feel like after watching what the Dolphins did to the Chargers last week, and they were I believe the Dolphins were on the road too, right?
They were on the road.
So this is their back-to-back road games. Um, I just don't think the Patriots can close out against the Dolphins. I think there's too much Tyreek Hill. So I think the Dolphins will win. I think the Dolphins will win at least by a touchdown and beat the Patriots at New England.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be something. I mean, I can't remember the last time the Patriots lose their first two home games, but this is a different Patriot team. I think Belichick always knows how to take away a team's main weapon. Okay,
That's
so let's say
true.
you double team Tyreek Hill. You got Waddle on the other side.
Yep.
And I'm with you. That's a great pick. I think the Dolphins just have a little bit too much firepower against the Patriots, who played well against the Eagles.
Yep.
Mac Jones was okay.
They had a chance to win.
They did. They
Yeah.
did. They had the ball, but it's going to be Sunday night. Tua seems to be healthy. He's fired up. If that kid stays upright, the Dolphins are going to win 10, 11 games. This
Yeah,
is too
and
much,
that's
too
the thing
much
with him.
offensive talent.
Yeah, and the defense. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be a lower scoring game because I thought the Chargers and Miami, you know, were better defensively than what they showed. The Dolphins added some players on defense that I thought would help out. But let I mean maybe they show out this game against Mac Jones.
I mean, Mac Jones is really playing for his, for his football life this year.
Yeah,
It's a make or break year. He had a really good rookie campaign. Not so much the next year. Um, Tough division, and I think it's a tough road ahead against Miami.
yeah,
I think it's going to be a 2-0 Dolphin team and an 0-2 Patriot team going into week 3.
yeah.
Okay, so it's up to me now. I am going to go with the team that burned me. Right? I'm going to go with the Giants, just out of the fact that I believe there is some pride in that Giant locker room. They're playing the Cardinals, who I think gave a great effort against the Commanders. I don't think that's going to happen this week. I think I'm picking the G-men -4. I think the Giants win something like 24-10, something like that.
Okay, that's not a bad pick. I like this pick as well. Um, the coach is good. The coach is not going to let them have two big stinkers in a row, right? He won Coach of the Year last year, right? I mean, this is a guy that all Giant fans love. The Giants love him. I don't think they're going to lay another egg. I can see them coming out, maybe being a little bit more aggressive. Um, I don't think they blow out. I don't think they win by 2 touchdowns, but I do think they win by a touchdown. I think they it's going to be a close game. Well, maybe they somewhat dominate, but they're going to struggle to put points on the board. I think it's going to be sort of like Arizona Washington game, but I think the Giants will pull it out. I think they'll pull it out. I think they win, by a touchdown. Maybe a 20-13 game for the
Okay.
Giants.
Okay. And your final pick, sir?
My final pick, I got to look around. I was gonna be bold and take Seattle, but now I don't want to touch them because I don't want to jinx them. That's the way I'm going to look at it right now because I'm very disappointed in them. If you'd have saw what I did on Tuesday when in D Freeze live, we was doing the football matchups and we was doing the picks.
Mhm.
I wore a paper bag for the whole show, so
Mm.
that's how disgusted I was with my team. And it sucks because the 4.5 just looks too weird. I feel like it should be 6 for the Lions. Like 4.5 seems low, especially for a team coming from the West Coast to the East Coast playing a 1 o'clock game, right?
Traditionally, that's horrible.
That
Yes.
that's really tough to do, and it's only 4.5. So it kind of worries me like that. Like if I wasn't a Seahawk fan, like I would say something's not right, and I would take Seattle because the line should be a little bit higher, based off the way they both played last week, and because Seattle's coming from the West to the East. I would take Seattle unless the spread was like 7. I won't touch it, but 4.5 just seems too low,
Mm.
right? I mean, I don't know what
I
you
agree.
think. I think the spread should be higher based on the way they performed last week.
I agree, and it's a tough game for Seattle. Now you know it's the Lions. It's been a while since the Lions have been given accolades. How do they handle that, right? Um, Goff seems to be a steady hand. He's a guy that had success early in his career. Uh, I'm pick. I'm not. It's not on my sheet of games to pick. I like the Lions in this game, but if Seattle won, I would not be surprised.
Well,
So
let's hope they win because I need them to win.
okay.
So, but the game I'm going to pick, I think this is a must-win for this team. Um, this team, I feel like would be. I think the coach would be on a hot seat if they lost this game. Because then if they lost, they would be 0-2. I know they're going to be on the road. I thought it was a game they should have won last week, and they couldn't close it out, and they lost. I'm taking the Chargers -2.5
Mm,
against the Titans. I think this is
mm.
a must. I know it's only the second game of the year,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
I feel like this is a must win for the Chargers.
Yeah.
I think this is a game they have to win and they need to win. Um, I know the Chiefs lost their first game, so they're both 0-1. Your team is in first place looking good by themselves. But I really feel like the Chargers need to win this game. I'm taking the Chargers minus 2.5.
I I like every reason you gave. I mean, if you look, if you know, just look at the rosters. The Chargers have the better roster. Now, is Eckler questionable for this game?
He's still questionable. We'll probably find out tomorrow, more
Yeah.
or less, if
Now,
he's going to play or not.
yeah. The Titans always play hard. They have a really good coach. They have the ultimate game manager in Tannehill.
Hmm.
They got Henry, but I like that pick. I think the Chargers, backs to the wall. I think they come out and give a good effort. Now it's on the road,
Yeah,
right?
it's at
And
Tennessee. Another
that
West
West
Coast, East
Coast,
Coast. Yeah.
right? Traveling that 1 o'clock, which is traditionally, it's a death sentence. My
But it's
Raiders
not
never
as
doing it.
bad. It's only what it's not 3 hours. It's 2 hour difference, I think, in Tennessee, if
I
I'm
think
not
it's the
mistaken.
same. I mean, it's a 1 o'clock game.
It's a
I
one
mean,
o'clock game, but
yeah,
it's the time difference. It's a 1 o'clock game. Yeah, I guess. I
yeah.
know the time difference is different over there from us. I think by 1 hour, but yeah, but I guess it's just, you could treat it the same way.
Hmm. But it's a good pick.
Yeah,
Looking at the matchups on which do you think is the game of the week? I see one.
I think the Chiefs and Jacksonville is the game of the week.
Bingo,
Yeah,
bingo. That's it.
that's a tough game. It's in Jacksonville.
Yep.
Um, the Chiefs in a must win. I just saw earlier that the coach said that both Kelsey and the lineman is going to play. He just signed the contract. Um,
Yes. Deep.
with
Not
Jones.
deep board. Jones.
Jones is going to
Yes.
play. He said both of them are playing, so that's good for the Chiefs. If you're a Chiefs fan, um, this is they're kind of like in the Chargers situation, must win. You know what I'm saying? But this is a big game for the Jacksonville as well. They lost to them in the playoffs, right?
Right.
And
Right. Right.
you want to make a stand and say, look, we're a team that's going to contend for the Super Bowl too. So I feel like this is going to be a great game. I would hope that Jacksonville sold out and the fans is rocking, cheering their team on, and we get a playoff type atmosphere of a game. So um, I can't really pick a winner in this game, but if I had to, I would take Jacksonville to cover the spread. It's 3.5. Um, but I can see anybody winning the game late. Maybe a field goal. Late in the game. But this is definitely the game of the week, and it's early too. It's a 1 o'clock game.
1 o'clock. Well, the NFL is the 1 o'clock games. It's the 1 o'clock games, and of course whoever's on the Sunday night docket. Um,
Two
Another
Monday night
interesting,
games this week, right?
yeah, which is horrible.
That's
But
stupid.
yeah, I just want to say an interesting tidbit. You have Doug Peterson going against Andy Reid. Uh, Doug Peterson took over for Andy Reid, and Andy Reid could never get to the promised land in the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson gets it. So, two former Eagle coaches going at it. Then Andy Reid leaves Philadelphia, and then, of course, is a two-time Super Bowl champion.
Yep.
So, a little, just something I thought was an interesting quirk. This is a game for legitimacy for Jacksonville. I mean, they beat the Chiefs. They put the league on notice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
On
And
notice.
especially how they beat the Chiefs too, it would kind of
Right.
would mean something as well. Yeah, big time. That's why this is a big game. It's a big game for both teams, probably more so for Jacksonville. Um, but yeah, I mean, I would like to see Jacksonville come out here and win this game and just let
Mhm.
the AFC know, like, we're a contender. You got teams that are supposed to be good already 0-1, and Cincinnati, Buffalo, and the Chiefs, right? Chargers also.
Oof. Can
This
you
is
imagine that?
this is big,
Bengals, if the Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs start off 0-2, what a bizarro world.
and all those games they can lose. The
Yes.
Bengals, I believe, play the Ravens.
Yes.
The Chargers, we just said, play the Titans. Chiefs, Jacksonville, and Buffalo with the Raiders.
Yes, I think the Raiders still the jury's still out. I'm picking the spread more than the actual win. I'll be honest with you because I still don't trust them. And also, just the Bills look like really ordinary against the Jets.
Yeah.
The How bad did Tony play in that Week 1 game against
Oh
the
my God.
Lions?
He had like
I
four
mean,
drops, right?
how did he? I mean, how does he sleep?
Well,
And
apparently he slept well because he was trolling the Giants
right,
after the Giants lost. The
right,
audacity, right? He trolls the
right,
Giants and the fans or whatever after he lost the game pretty much for the Chiefs, and he
single
has
handedly.
nerve to talk about the Giants losing. Like this guy, you
Yeah,
know,
he's definitely the bozo of the week.
yeah,
Uh,
big time.
you know,
He would get the
so
donkey of the week, the day too, right? From Charlemagne. You think he'll get the donkey?
Charlemagne the rapist.
The rapist.
Yeah, he's a rapist, and I'm not gonna say alleged because I got receipts. He's a rapist.
I never liked Charlemagne either. So
Yeah, he's half a homo.
yeah.
We know that.
There you have it. That's the insight from Mr. Palmer Jr. Keeping it real, as the
Yeah,
kids say.
he's a sucker. He's a sucker.
Yeah,
Charlemagne used to be on Wendy Williams' show.
yeah,
He's a little queer sidekick. He's a homo.
yeah.
I don't. Yeah,
Never,
Leonard McKelvey. That's what I call him.
never liked him.
Yeah,
But
you could
yeah, you know
EAD. Anyway,
another intriguing game I like is the Steelers and the Browns. Right, the Browns just got a big win. I believe this game is in Cleveland. It's a Monday night. I think this is a big game for the Steelers. Right, and
huge.
the Browns can. You think the Browns, can go 2-0 where the Browns, be the Browns, right? In a game that means a lot. This is a rivalry game, you know. Um,
There's not that intimidation factor anymore. The Browns over the Steelers. The Steelers used to own the Browns,
yeah,
and the Browns that one playoff game they beat the crap out of them a couple years ago.
yeah.
Um, Pickett, the jury's out.
The,
He looked
he did not look good. I know they played the Niners and the Niner defense
he
is
looked suspect.
really good, but he made some bad throws.
Yes,
Like he
home
looked
game.
terrible.
He's got a big home game. Um, you know, uh, a lot of pressure. Miles Garrett, probably the most underrated player in the NFL. I mean, the guy is. I mean, he is a Hall of Famer, and he just goes under the radar because he plays for the Browns.
Yeah,
I think the Steelers are in trouble,
I
despite
I,
they
I think so too.
yeah, I think they're looking at 0-2 despite playing this game at home.
Yeah, but it's a night game and they're at home, so I mean, and it's
Right.
rivalry. I expect this game to be close. I would be shocked if you see the Steelers lay another egg the way they did.
No, no, no. I don't think no.
Yeah,
It'll be competitive.
I would be shocked. I would love
I
to
think
see it. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I would love to see it because I do not like the Steelers at all. But
Deshaun Watson, little by little, you see him getting back.
I do.
I mean Chubb. I
Chubb
mean,
looked good. He looked good
yeah.
running the ball.
Hmm.
Ford looked good running the ball. He made a very bad fumble though that I was just like, wow. But I like that little combo that they have. I think Ford is a very good runner.
Hmm.
He's got to hold on to the ball though. So
Yeah, and they are sharing the Monday night spotlight. How is that going to be played out? Is one on ESPN and the other one ESPN2? How is this
it might
going?
be, but I think one is at 7 and one is at 9. Let me just see this if the time is here. Hold on.
I think that sounds about right.
It's
Yeah,
something weird. Oh no, it's
yeah.
it's an
Seven
hour
fifteen.
apart.
Yeah,
Seven
seven
fifteen and
fifteen
eight
and eight
fifteen.
fifteen.
So yeah, I that's interesting. I'm not sure how that's gonna be.
Maybe it's regional.
Is one on? Is they both Monday night or I mean both ESPN or is it one NFL network?
It's a good question.
I got to look that up. I mean, I'm not. I have no
I don't think
interest
the
in the other
NFL.
game.
I don't think the NFL Network would compete. I think when they get a game, it's kind of on their own.
Yeah,
Saints and the Panthers. Saints pulled out a game, skin of their teeth. Carolina, I think, is a work in progress. They're
yeah.
playing at home. I think the Saints are going to win. I mean, they're getting They're -3. They're giving 3 points.
Yeah,
They should be able to cover that.
I think so. See how Carolina's defense plays. Maybe they could force some turnovers.
Hmm.
Maybe Bryce Young could make something happen. I mean, it's an intriguing game. I'm more intrigued with the Pittsburgh and Browns game.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's yeah, 7:15.
Yeah,
That's the real Monday night game. Let's see any other interesting games. You mentioned the Bengals and the Ravens. I mean, that could also be considered maybe a game of the week.
it might be a must win for the Bengals early.
Joe Burrow was terrible.
Yeah, and
You know,
it's back to back division games,
back to
right, for
back
the
division
Bengals.
games. Yeah,
Right, if they lose, they'd be 0-2 and 0-2 in the division. That's huge.
yeah. But they're getting
So,
the game at home.
yeah, they
So
are at home.
they're getting the game at home. Um, I can't see this Bengals team going 0-2. I think they have too much talent. I think they bounce back in good fashion. Against,
And
of course, always a well coached Baltimore Ravens team, but
yeah,
I like the Bengals.
who just
Uh,
lost their running back again for the year, Dobbins.
oh
That
yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean,
the
obviously the Aaron Rodgers loss is the story of the week, but Dobbins, you really feel for the guy. He just can't stay healthy.
yeah, that's the
Who steps up?
second injury.
Who steps up for
Is it
them
Gus
now?
Edwards?
I think it's Gus Edwards.
Gus
Yeah.
Edwards. Yeah,
Um, and of course, but their best running back is the guy that throws the ball.
Lamar Jackson. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's about it. I think we ran
And
through
remember,
the entire
I don't
week.
think they had Mark Andrews the first game. He should be playing week 2, so that's going to be a big help for the Raven offense as well. He did not play in the first week.
Right.
Yeah.
Denver and Washington. Denver's at home against the Commanders. Sean Payton.
It'd be nice
against-
if the Broncos win, so we have something to get at D Free about. He's a little arrogant right now. Just saying.
He's really feeling himself by beating.
Well,
from
he
beating
was
the Cardinals.
roasting me. He was roasting me when Seattle lost, so I gotta.
Okay, so
I mean, he wasn't the only one, but
as you should.
Exactly. So,
And that's it. I think that is the last.
that's it. That's pretty much the games that anybody really cares about. We said the Cowboys Jets. I'm intrigued with that game too. I want to see how Wilson does and the Jets do. So there's a bunch of interesting games. Is that Cowboy game at 4 or 1? I hope it's at 4:00 so I could watch that game. It is 4:20. That's good. I definitely want to watch that game. Don't ask me why. I think I told you why. Because everybody thinks it's going to be a blowout. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, it could be, but I want to see how they perform with Wilson and the defense. I want to see how they do. But that's it. Congrats goes out to I think you called it last week, the Texas Longhorns.
I'm not going to take credit for calling the dub, but I thought it was a good game.
Yeah. They broke Alabama's home win streak that they had.
Yeah. Hook 'em horns. Sarkisian, the former employee of the Alabama, he was at OC for a little bit.
Yeah,
big time win.
Big time win. Double. Was it double digits? It was 2 scores. The first time Alabama got beat by 2 scores at home, and I think it was the first time. They said something about 20 years since Saban's lost a game at home by double digits. That's crazy.
A lot of firsts.
So, you know how I feel about Alabama. So, love it. I loved it.
Well,
hook 'em horns, right? Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns.
Hook 'em horns.
Right, but I'm sure your homeboy Deontay Wilder is not too happy.
I don't know if he, but that was a little low blow, Saka. I don't know why you have to go at my guy Deontay Wilder for.
I'm just saying. But
every time you do that, I think I'm gonna hit you with this.
Like Deontay. Ice on my neck, Eliante. She got body like Beyonce. Bomb squad, knock his ass out.
Just I got a little do a little Steve Summers here and there. I got some videos prepped. So thank you for that. I got to use that video real quick.
Set you up. 2-0 Longhorns. They play Wyoming. They got to stay focused. They're 2-0 Wyoming as well.
Yeah.
A big win. They took some of the spotlight from what has been the story of the college football season so far, and that's the Colorado Buffaloes, or at least their coach.
Yeah.
Prime time. Deion Sanders has the interstate rivalry game this week against the Colorado State Rams. Coaches are talking smack.
College game day is going to be in Colorado too. So this is
They
big.
are,
This is,
they are drinking the Kool-Aid.
after what? This is third week, college game day already in Colorado. I mean, good for them and good for Deion. I got no hate towards Deion.
No, me neither.
I mean, I still don't know how he is going to be as a head coach, like as a coach in general. But as far as when it comes to college, part of the process is like you got to coach and you got to recruit, and
Right. One and
it's
two.
not the players, right? So like
Right.
to go to Colorado, right? I mean, back in the day, Colorado was a good top school.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So
great facilities,
Yeah.
tremendous stadium, which if you wake up early tomorrow, you're going to see it. They own the state right now.
Big time.
They own the state right now. And hello to you too, Timber and Kiara.
Yeah.
So they are the story of the college football season. They become the darlings. They're a polarizing team because the same way they have their detractors. There are people that are looking to see Deion fall flat in his face.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
The haters.
The haters.
Yeah.
And another story that's under the radar, but they are the straw that stirs the drink. The number one brand in college football. And that is a team that plays in South Bend, Indiana. Love it. You could love it or hate it. The Irish are coming.
The Irish are coming, and I'm waiting for that Ohio State game. That's going to be the statement game. I don't want to get too hyped with the Irish because every time I get too hyped with the Irish let me down.
Before, right?
Yeah, I've seen it so many times, and it's depressing, and it's not only is it depressing for me when it happens, I end up watching the whole game. I'm not one of those that turn it off in the third quarter. I take my beatings, and so I'm really hoping that the Irish, at the very least, are very competitive in the game. I think they're going to win the game. I'm going to pick them to win. I think they're the better team, but
we got to take care of business first. We got Central Michigan.
Central Michigan, they should win that game, right?
Yes.
And then
get out of that. And Ohio State next week.
And Ohio State next week. Is it next week or the week after? I believe it's next week.
I think it's the next game on the schedule. Is there a bye? I'm not sure. They may get a bye. I don't know. Let me.
It could be, but I'm not too sure. Well, let me look it up right now. Nope, it's next week, September 23rd, night game in South Bend.
That's it.
7:30.
Strike up the heroes, baby. Let's go.
What's crazy is after that game is the typical. Like I could see it. I've seen this story so many times. Like they might go out and beat Ohio State next week at Duke, who's ranked. Duke is ranked right now. They play at Duke the following week.
That quarterback is solid.
Yeah,
they had the first big upset of the year, beating Clemson. So it's 1 week at a time with the Irish. So
thank you for coming through. Sorry.
Hey, it's all good.
Yeah.
Let's take care of business tomorrow or later today, and get up for them Buckeyes who owe us one from way back.
Yeah, I'm sick of the Buckeyes. I only like the Buckeyes when they beat a certain friend of ours team.
The upside down W.
Yeah, that's the only time I kind of root. And even then, sometimes I still root for Michigan to beat Ohio State because I really don't like Ohio State. But a certain friend of ours makes it really hard for us to root for them. So,
So sleep well.
So I didn't really get to pay attention to this fight. It looks like the end of the 12th round is near. We didn't talk boxing. We are looking to do another live tomorrow. Not sure what time, maybe later in the evening, early evening maybe. We'll do some boxing. We're going to have a special guest on, hopefully. and we'll do another live tomorrow. Boxing, maybe we might have 2 special guests. Not too sure yet. Not going to throw any names out there, but it looks like we're definitely going to have one. And that's why we only focused on football today. We didn't talk boxing because there's fights on today. So we'll definitely cover these fights. I'm going to try to catch these fights early tomorrow morning because it's on ESPN Plus, and then I'll probably check out the Showbox fights as well. So our guys should be doing the commentating, right? I would imagine.
Yes, El Diamante, Raúl.
Yeah, it
Marquez.
should be.
Yeah.
So I'll probably check those out tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
The ESPN ones is easier to catch because the ESPN Plus. Not sure how I'm going to see the Showbox, but I'll find a way. So
Cool beans, brother.
yeah. So we'll do that. Oh, there go G5, big Cowboy fan in the building, waking up from a nap. Yeah, I wake up from a nap too after beating the Giants 40-0. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so tomorrow, Geeko, I guess you'll let me know what time, we could do that tomorrow. And that's it. I mean, today we kept it short and simple. I'll get in touch with D Free and he'll give me his picks, with the spread. Maybe he'll jump on a little bit. I'm not sure how much longer we can stay on, because the fight ended. They'll probably announce the decision. I missed everything. I don't know if you got to catch. I know he was looking up at the screen a couple of times.
Yeah.
I really couldn't pay attention to any of it.
Cool beans, brother.
Yeah.
Well, it's past my bedtime, sir. So I will holler at you later, Gator.
You guys, your son sleeping?
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta take advantage because he gets up at 6 a.m.
Mine and in the room just chilling and shit. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you, Stock, as always. Thank you. Thank you for everybody that came through. I really appreciate you guys coming through. Don't forget, please like and share the video if you can. Check us out tomorrow. My boy Sock just went off. Check us out tomorrow. Not sure what time. I'm going to guess 6, 7, 8. It depends on the guest. It's a fighter who's going to be on tomorrow. We'll be doing a short interview with him. We'll probably cover some of the fights that happened tonight. And yeah, that's it. So shout out TWT, the family, the winning team, baby. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my boy Jose at the Bronx Logo, sponsoring the show. Hopefully next week I'll be rocking some of the apparel. I do have some apparel here, but I want to get some new apparel with the Bronx logo, you know what I'm saying, representing the Bronx, New York, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to you guys for coming through. Appreciate you guys. Wish each and every one of you to have a great night. Remember one thing.
What I got to do, let y'all niggas know, I am the nicest ever.
One of the nicest. I'm not the nicest, but yeah. So everybody, I hope you guys have a good night. Shout out TWT. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.